This time yesterday, literally.
That in solving the
All right, welcome to the show, everybody. Hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, I should probably put my little clip light on because it's just not bright enough in here. How you doing? There you go. That should hold it together. Something like that. Yeah. Welcome to the show, everybody. There's not enough time. There's just not enough time to do all the videos that are popping up everywhere about the boil that is erupting, that is foaming over the top of they're trying to. Everything is the volcano that is erupting. Of just MAGA discontent around the Epstein stuff. Also, I'd like to point out that Alligator Alcatraz is a complete shithole and a flop and violates all kinds of rules and laws. And the first time there's some sort of injunction against it, it will be closed because the law is the law. Also, Trump punted on his tariff shit again. So the letter he sent out, remember everybody's like, I now hereby say there's a 25% Mr. Japan. There's a 25% tariff on your goods. Turns out that was just another punt letter to August 1st. That shit did not go, it didn't into effect immediately at all. It just was yet another punt. There's every reason to expect that when we get to August 1st, the same thing will happen again. And there might have been something to if this Epstein stuff had come out around the same time that they had moved a huge group of just awful people into Alligator Alcatraz to show what terrible human beings they're having to corral into this area, and they were able to show them to the public and go, this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, they always did this terrible shit, and they have to be put in this place to save everybody else, whatever. And at the same time, the tariff stuff had gone into actual effect. you might have been able to bury this Epstein bullshit, but they were not able to. And it's glorious watching just the teeth grinding and the flipping out, and it just gets it's getting worse by the hour every time. And it is the number one thing on shitter right now. It is absolutely. Oh, let me see if I can pop this up too. There we go. And there clearly were a bunch of right-wing MAGA influencers. And hi, chat room, hello. There were a bunch of like MAGA influencers that were hoping that with enough time, like it would fade in a 24 to 48 hour cycle and they could kind of punt to something else. And by the way, they are trying. The White House is releasing stuff. He had this gathering of African leaders and some other stuff, and they're hoping that something else will eat this storyline. Lord knows, I hope that it moves on to the next phase. Either Bondi gets fired or Kash Patel or Bongholio step down or do something. I don't see that happening. So until that happens, maggots are going to just be chewing on this. And again, this isn't even about what stories I'd like to cover. This is the only thing they are talking about in maggotdom anywhere. Hold on, let me pause this and stuff like this.
I got a question.
There we go. I'll show you what I mean. This, and like I said, there are a bunch of these folks that thought this would be over in a matter of hours or days. And they're getting, in some cases, more angry about it and distressed, certainly, than you or I are, because we don't have any illusions. We're not going to lose a hero in this situation. If anybody that I had previously supported showed up on a list of people who participated in crimes with Jeffrey Epstein or whatever, the answer is clear. Fuck them. I don't care. If I believed who you said you were and you turn out not to be that person, how am I losing anything besides an illusion, right? Besides being tricked, I suppose. And I don't know why you would have that much that much attachment to needing to believe in somebody so bad, right? But MAGA is built on that. And so I would argue this story is less about, the Jeffrey Epstein controversy, of which there is plenty to talk about, and the conspiratorial aspects of it, which we will have a glorious time, no doubt, fucking with them about. This story is as much about that as it is about maggots' inability to genuinely criticize Trump, right? Given Templeton Zagat says, given how long ago Epstein died, it's fair to assume people are not yet tired of harping on it. The whole thing is sus front to back. Absolutely, no question. And it's worse than just being curious and sus. It would be one thing if our side was clinging to this kind of like Cohn did to the Hunter Biden laptop, which does not exist, for the record. Or you don't think they would have dropped that too? I got to tell you, I think maggots should be far more shocked that they haven't dropped the Hunter Biden laptop, the physical thing. Like, here it is. We've got it. We've had it in custody this whole time. And here's what's on it, right? Nothing. I think you guys should be more shocked at that than you are that Trump would be hiding Epstein shit, considering A, he's all over them, according to Elon Musk and history, and B, he said he wasn't going to on Fox and Friends. Right? He was like, I don't know, man. Well, yeah, maybe not the Epstein stuff. JFK, RFK, sure. But I don't know, right? Aren't maggots, and I know we have some trolls in here. Maggots, can you guys explain to me why... Never mind the fact that, of course, they're not going to release Epstein shit, considering Trump's close relationship with him. But aren't you mad that Patel and Bongholio haven't come up with the laptop yet? Where is it? You've never laid eyes on it. You've seen hundreds of pictures of everyone's breakfast on their Instagram, but somehow this is the only unphotographed crucial piece of evidence in history. Right? Where is it? I call bullshit. But that should be more shocking to you than them hiding the Epstein shit, like I said, considering Donald Trump was his best friend for 25 goddamn years. And I will again ask this question of any maggot or troll who's watching, and I want a real answer now. I want you to try and really answer. How long would it have taken you to figure out that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile? And was it less than 25 years? Whatever number comes into your head, would it have taken you less than a quarter century? Would it have taken you less than a decade? 2 decades? 2.5 decades? That's how long Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Would you have figured it out in that amount of time? And if you would have, what's Trump's excuse? And by the way, not what his excuse would be, because he doesn't give a shit about you or any of this. My question is, what's your excuse for him? Why? How could he be so blind to this for a quarter fucking century? What's his excuse? You explain, please. Please tell me, maggots. Explain to us all in the chat room why Donald Trump, and I want to hear about some other people that flew with him, anybody else. Because fuck them too. If they didn't know and they pretended not to know and we find out, I don't care. I have no problem jettisoning any of these assholes. None. So you've got to explain why you are clinging to this dickhead so pitifully. Somebody, I mean, there's got to be a maggot troll in here somewhere in the chat room, as big as it is. It's the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm House Sparks, and I will be House Sparksing the rest of the evening. But I gotta say, I'm trying to, but my Bill Clinton, right? Again, if he's in there, fuck him. I don't care. It's the traits I care about. It's the policies I care about. I'm not looking for a messiah. You guys are. So you got to explain to me how this dude was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years. And Roy Cohn, by the way, another dead pedophile. 2 of those guys. Trump was like a mentee of Roy Cohn. Learned everything, like every trick in the book, effectively the art of the deal from Roy Cohn, right? All of his media manipulation that you guys think is a great talent, he learned from Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn, who famously said on his deathbed when he was dying of AIDS, somebody asked him, a reporter asked him, does it bother you that people will know that Roy Cohn was gay and died of AIDS? And Roy Cohn said, Roy Cohn, and speaking of himself in the third person, another thing Trump picked up from him, Roy Cohn is not a gay man. Roy Cohn is a straight man who fucks boys. That was Roy Cohn talking about himself. And Donald Trump hung with that dude till the bitter end. And so I got to say, if I may, when we cut to the Lana Douches of the world, here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Lana Douche, with a very confused look on her face, just like Megyn Kelly. Because I got to tell you, this story is not about the conspiracy around Epstein. That's about as interesting as any true crime or watching some show about the Zodiac. The real mystery here is not how did Epstein die or what did he have or what is he connected to Intel or any of that shit. The real mystery here is how is it that maggots can hypnotize themselves into defending Trump in spite of all this information? That really is the shocking part to me, because this is less about Epstein and more about Trump, who's alive and running things now, and his supporters who just seem like we've seen it. Vinny on Peanut Butter Dickhead, all these guys, they just cannot put 2 and 2 together. They cannot make the Trump connection because, and granted, it's not because they can't. It's that they will not. Because if they do, they have to admit what suckers they were, how they were, willing to hang their integrity, out to dry, how they were willing to just lie on his behalf. Right? Okay, so here's Lana Douche, and in a video entitled "Who is covering up the Epstein client list?" I'm going to go with the biggest name on it, the guy who's been president twice.
A question. Yeah. What happened?
In what way? Hold on.
To the Epstein stuff. I mean, I was told that we had it. I mean, in fact, where was this? This is audio soundbite 11 frillion million. 17,011 million. I mean, this is what a flashback of what now AG Pam Bondi said. She said she had this list. Listen.
The DOJ may be...
By the way, this is being played on a loop everywhere. This is why she had to answer this in this cabinet meeting today. But all the right-wingers are playing this clip on a fucking loop right now.
Releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process.
Real quick. Also, in your 100% transparency thing, it didn't prick up your ears when she said it's on my desk to review. Why isn't it just on your desk to release? It's a client list, supposedly. It was evidence in a trial. It is of great public interest. There's 100 reasons why you would just release it as such. Why would you have to review his... I mean, I understand, like, any of the stuff that involves victims. But if it's clients, if there's a client list on your desk, why would you... What's the review process? Blacking out Trump's name several times?
Process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Yeah. You know why? Because even she's not shocked Trump's name is on there.
Okay.
I mean, you all remember, too, when they had all of those thirst trap influencers.
Ouch. Oh. Just, yeah. These are her fellow maggots. Thirst trap influencers. Yeah, Liz Wheeler, Lana Douche is calling you a thirst trap influencer.
Who went to the White House, and they all had binders that were supposed to be... What was the binder of? Wasn't it supposed to be the Epstein list that they were handed? That's what I thought, too. Right? Didn't you guys also think that?
No, it was the Files Volume 1, presumably saying that there will be a volume at least 2, I guess. So there's more to come, but this is just the starting. Now, granted, what was in those binders turned out to be all the publicly available stuff, or most of it, but a shitty photocopy of it. So it was even harder, oddly enough, to read Trump's name without it being redacted and stuff.
That's what they were given. They had a binder. What was in the binder if it wasn't that? And they had this big press conference they had there, and they were at the table, and they had these binders, and then they went out and they were all posing with them. And this kind of goes to show you the difference between influencer and journalist, because...
Ouch. God damn it. I gotta say, I'm enjoying watching these assholes eat their own. But again, she's not going... She's not going after Caitlin Collins here. She's not going after, the legacy media. These are, like, diehard maggots who were, part of the reason Trump got reelected.
Because none of the people who got those binders did any stories on them, and they didn't talk about whether or not there was any information in it.
Because when they opened them up, they realized they'd been had, and it was shit that was already available, and they were used. And the only thing they could do if they did a story about it was to shit on the Oval Office, but they're all cowards and cucks, and that's why they won't.
Not a single one of them came out and said, oh, well, you know what?
It's the first time I've ever seen this woman. I don't know anything about her. Lana Douche was, I think, involved with the NRA and other stuff. She's like a big gun advocate, big, maggot news influencer as well.
This is not what I thought it was, and here's why. And, nobody wants to blow the whistle on anything because they're worried that they might lose the next invitation or not receive another invitation. The binder, I think it was just like the public stuff that was in there, but there wasn't anything new, which is what everyone was led to believe. And not
and you didn't blow your top about it then.
Not a single one of these.
She used to maybe look totally different. She had long hair at one point. She's got a bob cut, but yeah.
People said, oh, well, this was stuff that we already knew. Where's the other stuff? No one did that because they didn't want to disrupt their access and adjacency to influence. So they didn't say anything about it. That just goes to...
Or I guess they were promised volume 2, and therefore they were like, okay, well, I'll hang on to this until I get volume 2, and then we'll do a big report. And they've been, bullshitted, I guess.
Sometimes influencers on the right are as bad as the legacy press. That's a fact. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Never an exception.
Yeah, but fucking influencers don't have absolute power, dumb fuck.
So...
You weirdo.
We were told she had it. We were told by everybody from all the people at the FBI. We were told by the new FBI head.
By the way, the blonde right there is Liz Wheeler. Let's jump from this, by the way. You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. It's just there's too much good shit to settle in on this part. This is... okay, let me go to... There's so many things. Okay, we'll get to Trish Regan. So there's PBD, this dude, and then Jimmy, obviously. Let's jump into Trish Regan. So Trish Regan is yet another one, kind of like Lana Douche, dish treason over here. No list. This is her response. No list, no blackmail, exclamation point, question mark. What happened to the Epstein files? Social media is furious, as is Elon Musk. Now they're, I don't know, they like Elon Musk because he was right or some shit. Here we go.
Everybody was waiting for some kind of something.
This is I got what I was waiting for. I don't know. I told you guys this train left the station. Like these two trains. The train where Trump cannot release these files because he's in them. And the train where these people are expecting the full release of all these files and everything was going to finally come out and people were going to go to jail. And these two trains are on the same fucking track, headed right at each other. And I told you this because he promised this all last year. And then he starts, once he gets elected, he starts dialing it back on Fox and Friends. I was like, yep, these guys are going to, I don't know when it's going to happen, but that fuse was lit last year. And it was just going to keep burning until it blew up. And this is it. I honestly, I'm almost shocked this took as long or that it came this early. Because on the one hand, if you're going to do this and just pull the Band-Aid right off, just get it done in the beginning of the presidency and then move on to other shit and bury it. Like do it in February, the first week of February. They maybe could have blazed right past it. But they probably thought that they were going to have trouble. Maybe the timing was we have to pass the big bill first, the budget busting bill. Then fuck them. We did it. The tax cut's permanent. It's too late. That I really do think that's why they released it now. Less the fact that they could hide it, but that now it kind of matters a lot less. It's over. The Medicaid cuts are coming to the red states. There's nothing they can do about it. And if any of them had questioned Trump's loyalty to them or loyalty to the truth or any of the Epstein stuff maybe 2 months ago, it would have put the big budget busting bill on shakier ground. Because this is inevitable. There is no way he was going to release this stuff. He's in it. And Steven says MAGA memory is 2 weeks. I got to tell you, Steven, it's not though. On a couple of issues, this is a sticking point. And again, this is more like, I feel like this is an anthropological study on, the giant red-breasted bullshitter, how long it can sing before it falls off the limb and dies. And like Trish Regan is yet another one of these weirdos, but she's a true believer. She's a dyed in the wool maggot.
On the Epstein files, right?
By the way, she, Lana Douche, all these, they're all talking very quiet. Have you guys noticed that as well? That a lot of people are talking about these things? Some people can't help it, but a bunch of them are talking very quietly. Like, it's very telling that this is not a full-throated show for them.
We were waiting and waiting, and now apparently it's all being put to bed.
Yeah.
Because there's no there, according to Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino. And it's a little concerning. I mean, you get MAGA people saying, like, this is...
Hey, and by the way, can we just enjoy for a second that these anti-legacy media, corporate media assholes where they clamor about you can't trust the media, they're quoting Axios directly without none of them are going, well, this is Axios. I think I've seen one person go, well, it's Axios, so I don't even know if I believe them. But the memo they're referencing is out now, so it proves that the early reporting was true.
This is crazy, right? Because, hang on, didn't they just tell us, like, over and over and over again that there was a client list and that, his...
Yeah, they also told you that foreign countries pay tariffs and women wouldn't have difficulty getting health care and there wouldn't be a rise in prenatal, maternal mortality rates. You see how none of this is true? That this is, again, less about the Epstein issue and more about, like, this just seems to be the one issue where they have a limit on how far you can bullshit them.
His death was super suspicious, and didn't Patel and Bongino and Bondi always promise to get to the bottom of it? I remember Pam Bondi saying this on Fox.
DOJ may be releasing the list.
Do this, the thing in the loop? Okay, back to this.
Being reviewed because...
You said, oh my God.
Okay. But the files were on her desk. The list, she said, was on her desk. So then why are we looking at a statement from DOJ saying there's no list?
Oh, I know. I can answer that for you because Trump is on the list. And it's really not like a list. Like, he didn't keep a list. He had a black book. He had, there's financial documents and that kind of stuff. So there wouldn't be just kind of like a standardized... Epstein didn't have like an Excel document with a list of like the compromise he has and the dollar amount they're paying. Like, he was some sort of... blackmail bookie, right? He didn't, but the reason you're not seeing this stuff is because Trump is all over it.
There was no murder. There is no blackmail, nothing nefarious somehow. We're like, excuse me? Like, this doesn't totally add up. Now,
it adds up perfectly. But you fuckers can't do math, apparently. Epstein plus Trump equals Epstein and Trump in a little parentheses. They're together. They were always together. They were friends forever. And he was arrested during Trump's first term. Bill Barr, whose dad got Epstein his first job at an all-girls school teaching math, which he did not have credentials to do, has been friends with him forever. Trump made Alex Acosta, the guy who gave him a sweetheart deal, the labor secretary when he had no fucking experience with labor at all. Like, this all adds up. This is so self-evident. She's trying to out Megyn Kelly. She's going to have to lose a lot more weight to do that.
How does it? I mean, again, when you think about all the things that Pam had come out and said herself.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything and a source.
Everything. I love that word, by the way. You guys know I'm big in absolutes. All, everything, every day, everyone.
Source had told me where the documents were being kept. Southern District of New York, shock. So
hey, look, it's the plane they borrowed for J.D. Vance, I think. I'm kidding. They had a bigger plane.
Got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m. Thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course.
Yeah, it's a game changer. The game has changed. It's a different game. It was Chutes and Ladders. Now it's Tiddlywinks. It's a totally different game now.
And Cash is going to, Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI.
Wait. I did not realize we're missing a detailed report. Not a memo, nothing to see here. A detailed report. Add that to the pile of shit that maggots were promised around this stuff that they're letting slide.
FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear because I think people got frustrated because they were expecting more.
Yeah, which is, that's Sean. We know. That's because they're assholes. Expecting more. Did they realize who's president?
You were expecting more, and you didn't find out.
Yes, defend her. Yes, Sean. Save Pam from herself.
Less than 24 hours before the release, you got a whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, then you found out just before that.
Well, sure, and you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein
What the hell? This is not my locker.
files. There were flight logs, there were names and victims' names, and we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yep.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI.
A truckload of evidence arrived. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to the video that he allegedly had and the documents that he had, a lot of it was on thumb drives and hard drives. What kind of truck are we talking about? A Ryder truck full of hard drives and thumb drives and, I guess, printed pictures? Like how much? Think about what these documents allegedly are.
FBI. Cash is going to get me and himself, really, a detailed report as to why.
Detailed report. That's two. Third time she promises it appears like Beetlejuice.
All these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein. Right. There are a lot of victims.
Well, you had
a lot of victims. Most of whom are adults now and have been brought in to look at footage to see if that was their body underneath the body of a prominent individual who was on top of them. But poof, they're gone. It was
identified in phase one over 254. Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received.
Okay, so if there were thousands of pages of documents.
Wait, she's just about to realize. Okay, then we'll move on.
Then what the heck happened? What happened to the thousands of video hours?
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, hey, thousands of a truckload of digital files. How many thumb drives could you fit in a Ryder truck? I don't know. 100,000? 400,000?
They did release this, so let me show you.
That's transparency. Sure.
Oh yeah, and this is everybody's getting on. She's actually dodging some of it because she's just the spokesperson. Bondi's in way more trouble, but I think in maggot world, they're just mad at blonde girls right now.
Oh, forgive me. That's the White House's response. Before we get to that, I want to show you the Epstein cell video that they released.
Oh, she's going to cut to the part where at 8 o'clock, everybody goes to their cell.
Okay, so...
You just play all 10 hours?
Not a lot going on here, but at some point you see some people, their point was trying to be that like nobody had come in and done anything weird. But then the internet started going crazy because somebody went back and watched the entire 11 hours. And I guess it turns out when you see that, there may be a missing minute. This is what the internet, all of like X is lighting up about right now, because what is that about?
There's a missing minute. And apparently it's a missing minute that everybody knows about. And Pam Bondi knew about this before they released the video that minute is missing every night, which I guess if you're going to shiv somebody, you do it at 11:59 on that block.
And I think they're going to have to answer more questions, which is exactly what Caroline
Why?
found herself getting hit with today by the Fox reporter who's like, wait a second. She said on our air on Fox that she had the list, and now you're saying there was no list? That doesn't add up.
That's transparency.
That's great. By the way, perfect line to lead into any conversation around this.
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so
This is Ducey, by the way.
the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list.
Nope.
So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox
I've
News.
got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to.
That's totally what she was saying. Absolutely. She meant she's got thousands of pages of a truckload of shit on her desk right now is what you meant.
Jeffrey Epstein's.
That's what she was really saying. It's not at all what she said, but that's what she was saying.
Crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars. They have an operation going on right now called Summer Heat, which has our murder rate trending in the lowest direction in United States history.
Yeah, but you also have to trust the Trump administration's numbers, by the way. But sorry, you want everybody to trust the FBI under Kash Patel in terms of the trust me bro attitude around Epstein, but you also want those same people to go, oh yeah, the murder numbers that the FBI is putting out right now are absolutely true.
Their emphasis on violent crime and locking up violent criminals has led to the arrest of 14,000 violent criminals. That's a 62% increase from the same time period last year. So this Attorney General and the FBI Director are committed to putting bad people.
How many of those were Jan 6ers that you released? Also a percentage rise in that across a country as big as this one, would you do re-arrest people
Behind bars where they belong. They promised an exhaustive review. That's what they did. For any further details, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
Okay.
I don't know if that's Trish Regan's I believe you face. Okay, so you guys get the point there. Let me jump over to this next one. This is, for those of you who don't know, Peanut Butter Dickhead was on, I think this is Jesse Waters' show. Is he on Jesse Waters? Yeah, he's on with Jesse Waters. Now, he says a couple of the things we saw in the clip from himself, but it is a big deal that he was brought on to talk about this stuff. And the tenor of the thing from Jesse Waters seems to be, how can Trump clean this up?
Valuetainment founder Patrick Bet-David is here. All right, PBD, what did you think when Trump said, Epstein's old news?
You talking about Epstein?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that you were brought on to talk about it, and the showrunner, your segment producer, talked you through your answers beforehand, and it's the only thing anybody gives a shit about, and there's no reason. What are they going to do? Bring you on to talk about tariffs?
I think good to be back on with you, buddy, but this is what I will tell you. The number one trending hashtag right now on X is Epstein. 2 million people have tweeted with the topic of Epstein. Number two is Nicki Minaj at 100,000. Comey's at 42,500. There is a reason why people are asking about this. This is
because Trump and he were best friends?
By far, and I'm a supporter. 3 times I voted for this man. This is by far the biggest fumble of the administration they've had thus far, and here's the reason why. If you remember the president winning, he had a conversation with Fox News, the great Rachel Campos Duffy, and she asked, Mr. President, 9/11, yes. John F. Kennedy, yes. Epstein, he didn't say yes. He was a little bit hesitant of bringing that information out. Why? So why
Because he's in them?
He does his leadership team go out there and are like, we have this information and we're going to release this and cash. And let me tell you what we have with Pam Bondi out of the state of Florida. She knew everything about Bondi, about Epstein. Why are you fumbling this? Why?
Because they were never going to release it because they can't because he's in it? Holy shit.
Are you not having an emergency meeting?
He's a founder? Oh, okay.
Together to conversate and say, hey, we're going to be on the same page with messaging on this. All you have to do is send a message to everybody. Say, God, let's have a conference call. Here's what we're...
That's an awkward fucking conference call, though. Hey, guys, we've all seen the evidence, right? Yeah, you know those pictures that I'm in? You know the files that I'm in and the lists and, of course, the transcriptions of the recorded phone calls that I'm on? Yeah, okay. We're all going to pretend that shit doesn't exist, okay? Everybody's on the same page. It's a matter of national security. Cool. All right. See you guys at lunch.
Here's what we're going to be saying about this, because this was a very important issue to not 80% of the voters that voted for President Trump, but I think 20% of the voters wanted to know what's going to happen with Epstein, and it's a big letdown.
20. He means Vinny.
I totally get the big victories. Tariff, $300 billion valuation this year of how much money is going to come from tariffs. Last year, the government only got $80 billion or so. That's like a company increasing their valuation by 4x. Massive victory.
Yeah, but we lost trillions of dollars in revenue from companies.
The stuff that's going on with, different areas we're winning. What happened with, Iran, the back and forth, the conversations. I think this was the biggest fumble when it came down to Epstein. And the more they answer like that, the more attention you're going to draw to. People are going to ask, why are they so nervous about this? What do you know that the rest of us don't know?
Can I chime in? I would like to chime in if I could. They know Trump's in it, and he knows how much. Good Lord.
It's just the fact that you want to hold people blackmail. Is that the relation between everything? Everyone's read the stories. It's not like we don't know what it is. It's not like the only thing people watch nowadays is Fox. People watch Twitter. People go X. People go CNN. People go ChatGPT. People know what happened with this guy. But my biggest suggestion, let's not have another fumble like the one we just had here, because this was the biggest fumble by the administration.
Well, let's get to one of the other hot stories, and I'm not talking about Nicki Minaj, although I am going to check out what's going on with Nicki after this break.
I'm laughing this off because that's what I have to do. My mother is calling me right now, and she hates my guts.
We're talking about James Comey and Brennan, two of Obama's top intelligence guys.
What a dodge. Notice how Jesse doesn't say shit about the whole thing. He lets Peanut Butter Dickhead say everything and then moves on. Yeah, water goddess. How can you not? Oh, my God, this is brutal. All right, next up. This is JD. What's his fucking name? Hold on. Is JP. There's a show called Awaken with JP. Huge maggot and known for comedy sketches all the time about Trump and the like. And very supportive of Trump, very anti-woke. Shit like that. 3 million subscribers on YouTube, an equal number on Rumble. They may be the same people, but a large number. This video by itself has 218,000 views, okay? And this guy, like I said, is all in on Trump.
Oh, there's no Epstein list? I guess that whole case is solved now. Good evening and welcome to We Lied to You News, our top story. The DOJ and FBI have officially concluded there is no Epstein list, along with the fact that he definitely killed himself and didn't have blackmail on any prominent figures. Now for the details. After years of struggle and speculation, now you, the public, can finally have a sense of closure on the Epstein case. And we'd like to thank the DOJ and FBI for finally getting to the bottom of it and solving the case. Job well done. We'll all sleep better at night knowing that justice is being served, by way of no justice being needed. But what are the details? And believe it or not, there's actually a little controversy surrounding these official conclusions. We can start on this line of the FBI's official conclusion.
Note, first of all, it is not lost on me how many edits there are in this bit. And you can also tell that while he's still selling the I'm doing funny fake news a funny fake news broadcast, he's having a real hard time selling this shit to himself, I think.
This systemic review revealed no incriminating client list. Now, some people in the public who are unhinged enough to think the earth is round and birds are real still actually believe there is a client list. They, for some reason, believe what they were told by people leading the investigation, like Attorney General Pam Bondi.
The DOJ may...
Right, okay, so you guys get the point. There's a jump off on all of these things. Hold on, chat room. I want to pick up one more thing to show you guys, because I think, is this it? Yeah, hold on. Is it this one? Yeah, here you go. This is one that's particularly ironic, I think, considering what we know about these.
They released this video. Let's show it. It shows.
1 second. This is Rusty Trombone chimed in on this as well. Again, a dude who is hawking his own Christianity to avoid his own sexual violence charges against him in 2 different countries. Jesse's Chuck. So this is Rusty Trombone's take on this bit. Hold on 1 second.
They released the
also what I've also noticed about a lot of the segments that they're showing up, the clips, and I don't think this helps them the way they think it does. They're all super short. Like most of the time, and CSL will tell you, when I'm sure when he's looking for clips or I'm watching stuff, whatever, you'll see like 12, 15, 18 minutes long. And that's usually the outside of what I like to show or work through on my show, because it's just, unless it's the be all end all of these clips, it just takes up a lot of time, and unless it's particularly hilarious or we're watching these people's broken spirits on parade, it can run a little dry at that length of time, especially because it takes me about an hour to debunk an 18-minute video, right? Meanwhile, these videos like this one from Rusty Trombone is 6 minutes and change, right?
Released this video. Let's show it. It shows no one entered the area surrounding Epstein's cell in the hours before he died. But there's something significant about this videotape.
Now, I'm interested in this missing minute footage. Have you seen it? There's like a little jump cut in it. It's like a bit like, oh. Let's check that out, because if you are covering it up, tidy up the footage, man.
Alex, I have to say, I'm with the people that still have questions about this. I kind of don't buy the nothing to see here.
I mean, Jake Tapper, what credibility has Jake Tapper got left with a missing minute? He's got...
By the way, it doesn't matter. You don't need to question someone's credibility about something when you can see what they are discussing. You don't have to... He's not the person saying there's a missing minute. There is a missing minute. And watch this asshole go, who's Jake Tapper to tell you what to believe and what have you, whatever, and then say the exact same fucking thing.
He's got a missing 6 months when it comes to reporting on COVID and Joe Biden.
And I don't know that the Justice Department helped their case. They released this video. Let's show it. It shows no one entered the area surrounding Epstein's cell in the hours before he died. But there's something significant about this videotape. What is it?
Well, they couldn't even address the time code. You wouldn't change the time code.
Here's one thing that some people on the internet are picking up on, which is that there is about a minute missing between 11:58 p.m. 58 seconds and 12 a.m. the night that Epstein was apparently killed or died.
Some people are saying, was this even Epstein's cell? This is not the video. It's not Epstein.
No. No, people aren't. Some people.
Epstein's cell. It was different. Okay, that's interesting. And let's see.
That's interesting, but only if you believe Jake Tapper.
Elon still trolling Trump. I wonder how this.
Why don't you do a show half naked? Because I'm at my dad's house. I mean, and who's to say I am not half naked?
Is going to play out, because now we're dealing with someone with resources, not the resources of a nation, but probably not far off it. And also, he doesn't deal with the infrastructural prohibitions that someone in charge of a nation deals with. Let's see what Elon Musk is saying. Libs say he will release the Epstein file if elected. Democrat Elisa shaking any time now. Interesting. Here's Caroline Levitt responding to Epstein client list questions.
Sorry, you're not questioning Elon Musk's take on that? Interesting.
After the recent DOJ and FBI statements, we went from, I've got thousands of hours of footage. I've seen Jeffrey Epstein. He was with Bert and Ernie out of Sesame Street. This pair of them was noshing him off. He had Elmo, who, I mean, I don't know how old Elmo.
All right, this is an odd attempt at exaggeration comedy in the midst of all this, considering he's a pedophile who hung himself or died in prison.
Elmo is, but I've seen Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. They was tonguing Elmo, right? They had Big Bird and that Mr. Snuffleupagus, and they was ramming him to.
I think this is the hippie Jesus Alex Jones thing that he's been selling. That's why he just got like a shawl draped around him.
There ain't no files. We ain't seen nothing. There's no list. I don't know. Can you tell me how to get to Epstein Island? Well, we ain't got no list, motherfucker. That I'm going to tell you. Let's get into it. How are they going to handle this little
That was a reach.
Farrago.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration,
except Trump, obviously,
has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration, and the Trump administration is committed.
So they're allowed to get a pass on all the pedophiles that are going to walk? That's the sales point. Just in case you're wondering what the hell the point she's making. The point she's making is we locked up a bunch of brown people, so we're allowed to let a couple of, like a few massively rich pederasts skate.
It's committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that.
A memo. An exhaustive study of thousands of documents led to a memo. Oh, God, this is glorious.
Review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive.
Yeah, nobody is asking, by the way, no one is asking for the release of secondhand child pornography that Jeffrey Epstein had in his possession. What they, I think, are asking for is a review of the images and pornography that he had that involved possibly men he knew and women he arranged for the services of or to enslave sexually wherever that happened. That would be the thing. And yes, her cross is missing. For those of that have noticed, she could not wear her cross and come out and lie with Jesus looking on like this.
Investigation, that's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Yeah, that memo.
Okay, so fair enough. We don't want to watch child pornography unless you're a paedophile. That makes sense. Let's have a look at whether... Stop, you lot. Everyone's sitting there going, is she married? Listen, focus on the story. She's an attractive woman. Get it together. Focus.
That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report,
we saw this part already.
Always slightly like, come on, this guy. He's always in that mood, isn't he?
He's attacking Deuce.
Always jabbing away with that pen. He's always slightly like, come on.
You revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network on Fox News.
They're all playing the same clips over and over again.
Oh, go ahead.
They're either having to excuse them or deal with them in some way, or this is the thing that brought their belief system crashing down.
Robert said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in
Yes, the whole truckload.
relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than...
She almost looked like she wanted to smile right there.
It's difficult, man.
Like almost like, you got me.
I think that's his producer, who's as much of a cretin as he is, it seems, allegedly.
Let's just for a minute take a breath and be honest with ourselves. When you're running...
Why start now?
The American government, organizations like the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Justice, do you imagine that they just sort of literally tell you everything that's going on? Or do you think there are layer after layer of...
Legally, they have to if you're president of the United States. And if you don't know, it's for lack of asking.
Esoteric and clandestine information that you just have to protect, and that it's different. Have you ever been somewhere new, like on a vacation?
Yeah, it's exactly like this. This is going to be, whatever it is, it's going to be a kick-ass analogy.
Do you remember projecting what it would be like in North Carolina as to what it was like when you actually got there?
What the fuck? Whoever was like, I thought North Carolina would be a lot more, refined than this. I'm from South Carolina, and I honestly can't tell the difference.
I don't know why I used that example. I'm thinking of going there. I suppose that's what it is. Anyway, look, the point is this. Once you are in power, you are confronted with the positions of somewhere in power. Great
horse shit
example of this. I don't know if this is biblical or mythical. Is it mythical? The sword of Damocles, that no one knows until you get into the throne, that there is a sword suspended above your head by a single thread that can drop at any...
Oh, fuck off. I thought Donald Trump was the solution to the deep state. Right? What are you talking about? Good God.
Any time, that is the sword of Damocles. You can't see it because it's veiled. You can only see it once you're in the position of power. I would suggest that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and perhaps even Donald Trump himself have now been exposed to the sword of Damocles. Of course, Trump's been in office and been in power before, and I don't know, man, I do think of him as a...
Maybe he doesn't have any excuse whatsoever. Maybe he is the person holding the sword of Damocles over Pam Bondi, since he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for a quarter century.
Sort of a truly unique individual in so many ways, but...
Yes, uniquely close to Jeffrey Epstein.
What I am not surprised by, although I am disappointed, is that we're not getting like, fucking hell, man, like Bill Gates, he was there every day. Bill Clinton, check these photos out, man. Did you? I mean, we're not getting that. So presumably there are alliances that exist between powerful institutions and powerful individuals that override their alliance to you.
Yeah, like Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, who was closer to Jeffrey Epstein, admittedly, than any of the people you bring up.
That's what it's... Well, let me know what you think in the comments and chat. Did you not know that already? I mean, I kind of...
Yeah, didn't you know that? I mean, you voted for the fella, and he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 25 years.
Knew that, didn't you? Thanks for watching the video.
Jesus. See how short that was? Like, there is so much of a fucking dodge going on around these assholes. It's stunning. And even like when they like make jokes about it or they dismiss it, it's fairly pathetic. This is a group, let me show you this. And some of these you guys may not even be aware of, but they're hugely influential. The Lotus Eaters is a British show. And there was it Sargon of Akkad is one of the lead guys on there who was pivotal in... Whoops, where's my screen? Where's that going? What's happening? What happened? What's going on? Hold on. I don't know why my comms thing just went away. Come back here. There you go. All right. Somehow it wasn't coming through. When these folks are putting this picture up, and they've done some work, they cut them out, they surrounded it with red light, they're making it stand out. When they've made the decision to show this, something has changed. There you go. Go, dickhead, you weirdo. Oh, is this not playing on here? Is that what it is? Hold on. There you go. Play silly thing. I'll reload it. Maybe that'll do it. Think. Is there a reason you don't want to play? Curious. All right, hold on. Messing around. Not worried. Let's see. Maybe it's playing on here. Grab this. Hold on. See? Copy this. Put it here. There we go. Paste it. See if it comes out. Play. I don't know why it wouldn't, but we shall see what we shall see. All right. Might have to come back to that one. There's something's very curious. My software is being very strong. There you are. There's the chat room. And then this thing right here. Okay, we'll skip that and come back to it. I don't know why it doesn't. Obviously, there's some limit. The Lotus Eaters video, because it deals with suicide or what have you, and it, came up with a warning over it that somebody else had put there. So we'll get to that in a second. I might have to open it in a different browser to show you. But well, let me show you this. Here's one of the most curious maggots in the world, Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is a big fan of Donald Trump, especially his whole plan for Gaza, and has been ever since. And here he goes into caught. FBI deleted full minute from Epstein jail cell video with Sam Tripoli. Now, we don't know if they deleted that minute. We just know that it's missing. But maybe he knows something we don't. That's why we tune into Jimmy, is for his side-eye pro-Trump defense. Here you go. This is the full.
Weren't the cameras supposedly malfunctioning? That was the original story.
No, they were not. The recordings were malfunctioning. There's only one camera recording. The rest of them were on. You just couldn't see them. We've known this for a long time. One of my favorite things about Jimmy Dore is this: he and Kurt both pretend that we don't all know details that we've heard multiple times.
That the cameras were malfunctioning. Now they're saying, no, we got the video.
No, this video was the one that was available in the IG report from, that the Attorney General did 2 years ago.
What? They magically work years later. So, but watch this. Watch this. 1 minute is missing from the Epstein security phone.
Oh.
So, watch this. So, 11:58:57, and then it goes right to 12. So, spoiler alert, no Epstein files, but here's what Donald Trump said originally about them.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
By the way, this is...
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. It's interesting that everybody's dusting off this footage now, too.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Well, Elon Musk says time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. That's what Elon Musk said. Guess what? Breaking. President Trump's Department of Justice and FBI conclude Epstein had no client list and committed suicide.
Somebody let the air out of his co-host.
That's real. Remember when J.D. Vance said this? Remember when we learned that our wealthiest and most powerful people were connected to a guy who ran a literal child sex trafficking ring, and then that guy died mysteriously in a jail, and now we just don't talk about it? He said that in 2021. Well, guess what now? Now, nope, nothing to see here. Don't talk about it. Nothing to talk about, nothing to see. Even though they've been talking about it for years and years, now when they're in power, nothing to see here. Shows
Weird, huh? Now, during the Biden administration, Ghislaine Maxwell went on trial and got 20 years, and they used all that information to put her behind bars and to and give that information to survivors so that they could divvy up Epstein's holdings. But when Trump gets in, all of a sudden there is no case against him. I guess he committed suicide for nothing.
Show's over. Go home, folks. President Trump, they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client. There's no evidence that he had a client list or was murdered. No evidence. According to a memo detailing the findings obtained by Axios.
Again, also, Jimmy's one of these people, you don't trust the mainstream media quoting Axios.
Administration is releasing a video, get this, in both raw and enhanced versions that it says indicates no one entered the area at the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held that night he died in 2019. The video supports a medical examiner's findings that Epstein died by suicide. He broke his own neck, is what they're saying. Here's the video. Guess what? There's a minute missing from the video. Department of Justice.
It's fun watching Jimmy just like arrive at these conclusions late to the game after supporting, saying, Trump is, far better than Harris or Biden.
Watch this. 1 minute is missing from the Epstein security phone.
Oh.
So watch this. So 11:58:57. And then it goes right to 12. It just jumps. 11, boom. The findings represent the first time Trump's administration has officially contradicted conspiracy theories about Epstein's
No, it isn't.
activities and his death. Theories that have been pushed by the FBI's top two officials before Trump appointed them to the Bureau. That'd be Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. A social media influencer.
Yes, we've read this, so we know what Axios says.
Also,
yeah. We don't care.
That's not on the right. That's anybody with a thinking brain. What do you think Jeffrey Epstein was doing? He was running a blackmail operation. What do you think he was doing? Sex trafficking, children.
Yeah, it's weird. And Donald Trump was best friends with him for 25 years, and Joe Biden has never been mentioned as anyone even remotely close to being on that list. And yet, to Jimmy Dore, the choice for president was a coin flip.
What do you think he was doing with Prince Philip? Was that what
I don't care. We fought a Revolutionary War, so I don't have to give a shit about royals. Fuck them.
his name was? Prince Philip? Which prince was it?
Andrew, dummy.
That got in trouble.
Yeah, hold on.
The memo says no one else involved in the Epstein case will be charged. Epstein's associate, Maxwell, is serving
Prince
20...
Andrew.
What's that?
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew. Sorry, Prince Andrew. For sex trafficking and related... of course, she's in jail for 20 years for sex trafficking people to no one. She trafficked kids to no one.
Well, technically speaking, she trafficked them to Jeffrey Epstein and for Jeffrey Epstein. She was convicted for the girls that she brought to him, and he's dead. So, again, I happen to believe he had other people and that she brought them for them as well. They just weren't able to or didn't make a case against those people. They were specifically dealing with the direct evidence they had from the survivors about Jeffrey Epstein, cut and dried, that they knew they could get a conviction on.
Who are the people she trafficked them to?
Jeffrey Epstein. And maybe Alan Dershowitz and maybe Noam Chomsky and maybe Bill Gates and maybe Bill Clinton and definitely Donald Trump.
That's what people want. According to the memo, investigators closely examined footage of Epstein's Manhattan prison cell between around 10:40 p.m. on August 9, 2019, when Epstein was locked in his cell, and around 6:30 a.m. the next day when he was found unresponsive.
He was locked in his jail cell at 8. The 10:40 is off.
Or murdered. The footage, which was reviewed by Axios but couldn't be verified independently, showed no one entering the area, the administration said. The FBI enhanced the relevant footage by increasing its contrast, balancing the color, and improving its sharpness for greater clarity and viewability.
Variability.
Investigators found no incriminating client list, no credible evidence that Epstein's blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predict an investigation against...
Predicate.
uncharged third parties, the memo adds. So if you believe that, I've got a vaccine I'd like to sell you that stops.
Jesus Christ. It never pass up an opportunity to be anti-vax.
Transmission and contraction and will end the pandemic. If you believe any of that. They said for years there was no video. Now all of a sudden we got it.
No, they didn't. They said for years in 2023 when that report came out that was the only camera available. God damn, he's stupid. And also, the fuck are you mad about? Like, I would think. Oh, here we go. They're gonna. This is him attacking Bongholio.
Listen.
By the way, playing other people's shit.
That Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do.
Yeah, we saw this shit. We saw this comparative, like the contrast between what he said before and what he said after. And 2023 is when the report came out that showed that said that there was one camera, only one camera recorded. All the rest of them were malfunctioning or didn't record.
I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Wow, what a switcheroo. Here's Kash Patel. In March, Pam Bondi says the FBI has tens of thousands of Epstein videos. In April, Patel says that they vanished. In July, the Department of Justice says there's no client list, no names, suicide, case closed. They had the tapes. Now they have amnesia. Let's watch.
Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
Tens of thousands of videos.
Yeah. So anyways, this is, and I'm not quite sure. The odd part is that Jimmy seems like, this seems to be like yet another attack on what he believes is like the deep state or some shit. Yeah, they didn't have a camera on Epstein's cell. No, they did not, Buddy Chauvin. Like, and he's not mad. Like, I mean, he's acting like all the other maggots that were lied to. None of us bought this shit at the time. All of it was hinky as hell. It's so weird. Okay, so let me see if that's the Trish one. There's Peanut Butter Dickhead. There's this Trish Regan. Let's see if this one. Whoops, hold on. This plays. Guess not. Man, what's going on? Oh yeah, because that's the. See, it says you're not alone. The suicide crisis hotline, and then they just don't, like, it won't roll when I'm doing this or something. Hold on one second. This is the Russell one. Let me try to open it in one other window. Let me try it on another thing real quick. How much time do I have? I'm good. Okay, 5:20. This will go to here, and then I think let's try this guy right here. Closing this window, opening another one up. So I'm gonna, give me 1 second. The Kavanaugh section had been busted for months. Dumb to put him there, or intentional. Again, that's why it's hinky to a lot of people, right? That's why they're, there's reasonable concern around these issues. Okay, let me put this in here. Okay, let's see if this opens up like it's supposed to. And if it does, lucky us. There you go. Now it's actually playing it. Or maybe it will. Let me mute this while it plays an ad, which is particularly odd. Here we go. And skip. Here we go. All right, here we go. There we go. Now it should play it. New thanks. This is the Lotus Eaters guys. Now, again, these are British guys who are big supporters of Donald Trump. This is Sargon of Akkad.
So at this point, I'm convinced that the Epstein cover-up is still going on,
And I hate to say it, but I think that Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel are basically a part of it now. I'm not saying I think they're willing participants either.
Oh, no.
But I just don't believe what we are being told here. I mean, if you go back to February...
How are you an unwilling participant in this? Because they're either in on it... Well, I guess there's three options. They're in on it. They are stupid. So they're not willing participants. They're just suckers and idiots. Or it didn't happen. And you got to deal with that fact, I guess.
When Pamela was first put into the job of Attorney General and was beginning the process of this, she started releasing things immediately, right? She started saying, and not just that, but look at the way that they frame everything, right? This Department of Justice is following through on President Trump's commitment to transparency and lifting the veil on the disgusting actions of Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirators. The first phase of the files released today sheds light on Epstein's extensive network and begins to provide the public with long overdue accountability. Yeah, okay, great. And because obviously everyone knows, right? It was an open secret in elite society in the United States. Everyone knew. The FBI...
well, they don't anymore.
...is entering a new era. One will be defined by integrity, accountability, and the unwavering pursuit of justice, said Kash Patel. So,
yes, unwavering, as it were. You know, some things waver, this will not.
So, okay, fine. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we were expecting. And so let's...
No. It's the kind of thing you were expecting. The rest of us were like, holy shit, Donald Trump was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. There is no goddamn way he's going to release this stuff, just like he said he wouldn't on Fox and Friends.
Let's go. And so when the FBI itself was being reticent to release things, Pam Bondi was like, no, you're withholding thousands of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. I want them. And you remember that a few months ago she said...
And someone said no. And they said, well, what's in this truck? And they said, it's empty, fuck you.
Well, they're on my desk, right? This was something that everyone was concerned about. And so when... back in February, remember that they did the sort of, the influencer thing where a bunch of them were there? Well, it was all stuff that was already in the public discourse. It was already released to the public. Like the Epstein's little black book, Unredacted, had been released ages ago, right? Like 2019, something like that, or before. Actually. So it's not like we didn't know about this. But then things started getting a bit weird because Dan Bongino and Kash Patel in May did an interview with Fox News, and they just look really nervous. In fact, if I turn the audio off and you just watch this.
Well, they're both fairly sweaty people in general, and both of them are skeevy and full of shit. Like in their defense, if I'm being generous to both of them, having watched
look at their body.
Having watched way too much Bongholio over the last couple of years, and seeing way too much of Kash Patel as a guest on Bannon's show and stuff like that, both of them are sweaty, stammery bullshit artists. So seeing them in this is almost like, for me, seeing them in their natural habitat.
Body language, man. Like they just seemed really nervous. And they came out and said, yeah, actually, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
Actually.
I mean, look at Bongino's face.
Actually. Yes, this is Sargon of Akkad, everyone. He's on a show called The Lotus Eaters, the Lotus Eaters Daily. They... I believe, which is meant to be an anti-Islam reference, if I'm not mistaken. It basically very Brexity fellows, super supportive of Trump. Many trips to Mar-a-Lago and the like. They have they've got multiple channels. On like the Lotus Eaters, and then this is the Lotus Eaters Daily. It has 77,000 subscribers on it.
Look, they look so taut. They look
shellacked is the word you're looking for.
Honestly, genuinely afraid, right? So I don't know what the hell's going on because everyone was like, yeah.
Oh, I do. You're an asshole. They're assholes. How do you not know that they were all in on this? You're a moron. That's it. Like, I swear to God, the inability of these people to put two and two together over and over again is the stunning part. And again, more of a story than the Epstein part of it.
Yeah, Bongino's the guy. Cash Patel is the guy. Like, these are honest guys. And look at them. They look like they're hiding something. And I'm not... like
they always look like this to me, so...
I'm not saying that they are necessarily willing participants in this.
Right. They could just be fucking morons.
Because...
That's what that was.
Look at the expression. Look at their faces. Like, Cash
Do
Patel...
I have to? I mean, Bongholio looks like a dinner theater RoboCop with his helmet off.
Patel's like wide open face, and Bongino's honestly just the sort of looking away, not keeping eye contact.
Sort of.
That's two guys who are not pleased to be doing what they're doing, right?
Tough shit. It's a dirty job, I guess.
I've seen other interviews with Bongino in particular where he's like, look, we're there all day, every day. We're working really hard. We're just in these small rooms doing the job. And it's like, yeah, but I think it's the institution that's the problem, right?
No, it isn't. It's not the institution. The institution is still doing its goddamn job in spite of these fuckwads.
And so then they came out today and said, oh, actually, there's no client list.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. It's like, sorry, what do you mean? Pam said that she had the files on her desk.
Right. So you see what I'm trying to say? Like, it is like everyone is having the same hinky moment over and over and over in these things. Did his accent come from the Mid-Atlantic? Now, I believe if you've got a Mid-Atlantic accent, you speak like this as well. Yes. You say tomato and I say tomato. And let's call the whole thing off. Yes? Yes. Well, I was wondering about the whole thing, and now I just can't bring it up, and it's very upsetting to everyone, It's just not right. I can't take it anymore. Let's see. I'm opening up a window over here, and then we'll find this on here. Where is it? And yeah. This. Okay, hold on. This is yeah. I'll show you like maybe it's the beginning of this. Dink, dink, dink. Get out of here, you stupid thing. Okay. This is Alex Jones on his live stream today after he was going to throw up in his car.
Rating and extremely dangerous.
Whoops. There you go.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because our global awakening in the United States is the epicenter of that, is exponential and is unstoppable.
I don't know. I feel like it's been put on pause by this, don't you think?
Unless the globalists release some super virus or have a nuclear war, and even that
Yeah, it can't be a super virus. The last pandemic was fake, right? So why would you expect, And
they'll be defeated because people know they're behind it.
Well, what difference does it make who's behind it? If it's a super virus, you're kind of fucked, aren't you? Whoops. Oh, that croaked out. That was fascinating. That's a window closing. Hold on one second. Apparently, I've been vetoed by this. So you can open up this new window. Whoops. There we go. I don't know why that conked out. We'll find out. Sometimes it just happens because my computer gets hot. Too hot lady. There we go. There we go. And let's go to Alex Jones and Epstein, which is the big part of it. They're trying to shovel this off on everybody except Trump. And that's a difficult row to hoe, man. Oh, And by the way, he had Nick Fuentes on to talk about this. Like, you want to talk about like scraping
Elon
the fucking
Musk has put out another
bottom of the barrel.
tweet.
Here, I'll
it
show you.
was on X. It was Nick earlier saying he would expect that we're going to be seeing Elon come back on the scene now after months ago, saying, "Hey, I'm going to drop this bomb right here. The reason you're not going to get any of the files is because Trump sent them." And now everyone's like, "No, that's not true. They say they have them. They sent them out to the FBI." And now, nope, there's nothing. It's all gone. Don't talk about it. Don't ask questions. Elon Musk, how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? Well, now the mind control will be, well, there are no files. They just told us there aren't. And then the other spin is, oh, no, the deep state destroyed them before.
Hold on.
Maybe they destroyed them.
Wait. So the if we're deep stating the shit, hold on. There's a mind-controlled virus that they use to I guess freeze everybody's ability to critically think on this. That there was nothing to release because that's what Trump's DOJ said. One would think if Trump can beat the deep state, then all he has to do is insist.
And now, nope, there's nothing. It's all gone. Don't talk about it. Don't ask questions. Elon Musk, how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? Well, now the mind control will be, well, there are no files. They just told us there aren't. And then the other spin is, oh, no, the deep state destroyed them before. Maybe they destroyed a bunch of them, but we know the FBI had them. We know they raided New York 4 months ago to get them. We know she said in all these interviews they had them.
4 months ago. Who was president 4 months ago?
And then they start slowly putting it out a few months ago on, Rogan with Patel. And Rogan didn't even buy it as well. He's like, no, you trust me, Joe. If there was anything, I'd tell you, there's nothing. There's nothing. Watch the watch. There's nothing, Joe. There's nothing going on. Go ahead.
Think about that for a second. That's him addressing Kash Patel on Joe Rogan. That Kash Patel is just there to bullshit and hypnotize Joe Rogan in this situation. And like I said, this is not going to go away. This is why this is not going to go away. And it will increasingly get worse. I'm going to see if I can find in here the let's see. Trump's English praise to Liberian president sparks discussion. Oh yeah, that bullshit. Yeah. One of the hashtags that's going on right now is hashtag Trump pedophiles. That's how you know this shit has legs. Right? Trump pedophiles is trending. The President of the United States raped children in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan home. Defendant Trump exposed himself to the plaintiff, then proceeded to forcibly rape the plaintiff. She was 13. Trump knew that. This is from that footage. Trump wants everyone to stop talking about the Epstein files immediately. This is it. There is no Epstein list, be honest. There was never an Epstein list, be honest. I'm on the Epstein list. Thank you. There you go. That's the... Yeah, there you go. This is on X, and they are brooming people off there who disagree. Now, there's, let's see if we can find this. There's, this was Trump earlier interrupting when Pam Bondi was asked about the Epstein files, and like, are you still asking questions about Epstein? That shit. Okay. That is just going to increasingly get worse as well. There's the victims. Ghislaine Maxwell says Jeffrey Epstein recorded Trump with his victims, right? I mean, I guess she's either safe or doomed, right? That's Katie Johnson. Let's see. This is Gary Peterson. Spent an exciting day playing golf with President Trump, who proved his innocence by never inviting me to a sex trafficking island. Case closed. Yeah. Some of these, I think a couple of these photos are fake, but most of them are real. And that's the hard part, that they obfuscate by letting this stuff be out there. Yeah, these little montages. Yeah. And then there's a bunch of this, AI art that's going around. There's a TV in front of the White House that's playing this, or I think in front of the Capitol, playing this on a loop. I have to say, this is... Hold on. I wanted to find... I think the hashtag Trump pedophiles, all that stuff is showing up in this one particular... Let me see if... chat room, if you guys... Because some people have seen all of this, because I talked about it earlier. There's a little bit of it yesterday. But some of you haven't seen some of it at all. It's curious to me how they're going... Where is it? This is... yeah. There's so many people that are also dodging this currently. Like the Hodge twins are not talking about this. There's a bunch of Trump supporters that are avoiding the conversation entirely about this. Let me do this. I'm going to open up the chat so I can see you guys. Because even though I can see that right there, it's very, it's hard to read on my end because the monitor it's on is ass. Is it frozen? Did I get frozen? Sorry. Whoever has Hunter's, yes. Thank you. Yes, whoever has Hunter's laptop this week, please check it for the Epstein list. It's got to be in there. Anyways. Yeah, the Pizzagate people, those people have evaporated entirely, right? You've seen Elon's meme mocking Pam Bondi and clown makeup? Yes. That putting on the makeup one has been around for a while. Yeah. Let's see. I've been on Twitter since most took over. Yeah, I don't go on Twitter either. I just use it to spy on them, but I have an account on there. Let MAGA eat themselves. Just sate their appetite. Yeah, I mean, at some point, that's the only conclusion you can come to, right? Okay, not frozen. Thank you, Andrea. Zuck froze me twice. That I don't surprise. That's not surprising. I'm the deep state. Do something. I am doing something. You're welcome. All this stuff is coming out because I am the deep state, and they can't stop it. Bigfoot has the laptop. Twitter is a cesspool. Agreed. Where can you get adrenochrome these days? That whole market has dried up, hasn't it? Does anybody ask Ivanka, does pedophilia? I see, get you. Snake eating its own tail. Yep. Bigfoot pizza. Somehow it's all Biden's fault. Yeah. If Pam Bondi came out and said Hunter's laptop doesn't exist, it would really break it. She's going to have to at some point, right? That's the question. At some point she's going to have to say there is no laptop. She doesn't have it. They don't have it. They have a hard drive named laptop that they got from Rudy Giuliani. The busted laptops they got from the fucking Mac store are bullshit. There's nothing on them. They were all fried. He recovered the only files he was able to recover. And yeah. Boy. Okay. Last I heard, he was the one who had the laptop. It's entirely possible. Phone home. Anybody remember who the voice of E.T. was? Who did the voice of E.T.? I'll give you a hint. She was on. It's a she, and she was on Wonder Woman at one point. Somebody's going to know in the chat room. I'm just going to let it come up. Yeah. Almost there. Deborah Winger. There you go. Yep. That's right. Yep. Deborah Winger from Officer and a Gentleman. Yep. There you go. Correct. Sherry Lewis. Yes, the lamb chop was the same voice. Now, I'm going to grab one more video, and then I will let you guys go for the evening. Where is it? Because, damn. This is the... Where are they? Yeah. Yeah, this will be 1 second. Hold on. I don't know if this will allow me to play it or not. Let's see. Because it was being a dick earlier. I'm going to go to this and jump over to here. There you go. Hold on. Go to here. Taking its own sweet time. There you go. This is Peanut Butter Dickhead has a guy on CIA insider claims malfunctioning cameras support the suicide theory.
In this situation with Epstein and what's going on.
This is the new cleanup, by the way, that it actually that Bongholio and Patel are telling the truth.
Who knows exactly what happened? The FBI or CIA?
Well, see, that's really the $64,000 question right there. One thing that didn't surprise me at all was the conclusion that he committed suicide. I've always said he committed suicide. And I say that only because of my own experience in the prison system.
You don't think someone killed him?
No, I don't.
You think he committed suicide?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why.
Please.
Because the Federal Bureau of Prisons is the biggest repository of semi-literate boobs anywhere in government. If you have
well, then why wouldn't, if you were that rich, that's how you would escape. You would use those semi-literate boobs to buy your way out of there.
An IQ of 65 and you want to work in government, straight to the Bureau of Prisons with you, right? Every flunky who couldn't make it through the local police academy, or every loser who left the military and couldn't find a job because he lives in some rural area and there are no jobs unless you want to be a farmer and live in a double wide, they go to the Bureau.
Yikes. Sorry, I thought we were the elitists.
Prisons. The guards, so many of the guards were so stupid where I was that they couldn't even read. So they couldn't do mail call because they couldn't read the envelopes. And so prisoners had to do the mail call for them. The only qualifications to be a prison guard are you have to have a GED or be working on a GED and no felony convictions. That's it. That's all. And you're in. So, number one, they're all morons. Number two.
Wow.
The cameras never work. Never. I wrote a blog. I used to smuggle out this blog and my attorney would publish it. And it became my second book, Doing Time Like a Spy. But I wrote this blog about how I was working as a janitor in the chapel. And
this is when you're doing your 23 months.
When I was doing my 23 months,
Yeah.
I was a janitor. I offered to teach a class because I did my PhD coursework in international affairs. And they told me if they wanted me to teach it.
Doing Time Like a Spy. How the CIA taught me to survive and thrive in prison.
Effing class. They would ask me to teach an effing class. Now pick up the sweeper or the broom and, sweep the floors. So that's what I did. I said, fine, for 16 cents an hour. So anyway, every time I'd go to the chapel in a period where there wasn't some sort of religious service scheduled, the guys are having sex in there and I'd have to chase them out. And the reason they had sex in there all
the guards
time is because the cameras never worked. And everybody knew where the cameras didn't work. They didn't work in the stairwell that led down.
It's almost like everybody would know that the camera goes dark at 11:59 every night at the same time. Right, to my point.
To the mail room, for example. They didn't work in the hallway that led to the laundry. And so people are...
Is he alone with Peanut Butter Dickhead? Are the rest of the guys there? Hold on. Are the rest of the guys in the studio with him, or is he just... No, he's just interviewing him by himself? Yeah. Everybody else is gone. So, and why is he there? Because he's on this fucking Memect bullshit app that Peanut Butter Dickhead sells. That's why he's there. Jesus. I feel a lot better about it. I think it's, the fact that this guy's telling you that everybody in prison knows which cameras work and when they don't work, Makes me feel a lot better that we were told the truth about all this. It's so fucking lame. Okay, one more. This is the, let's see, how much time? Okay, I'm all right. Yeah, here you go. So good. 1 second. This would be, ladies and gentlemen.
Why are people falling over themselves to protect Jeffrey Epstein? Because he is something of a linchpin to this matrix. I want to be very clear here, guys. Everything that is happening right now is factually stupid. These people are idiots. They're a part of the club. We're
factually stupid, which is a great term if it meant anything. I guess it's factually stupid. Is in fact stupid or factually wrong to an exaggerated amount? Nobody knows.
not in it, but we better get wise to it pretty soon.
So recently, Candace Owens had a podcast about how the Trump administration is covering up the Epsteins.
Okay, all right. So this is this dude covering it then. Okay.
Receiving regarding the Epstein files, because there is a level of gaslighting that is taking place that ought to be studied. I mean, we are just what? Yeah. So to tee up this first clip, what's happening here earlier today, Pam Bondi is very reasonably being asked by journalists about the discrepancies between her past statements and actions, which we'll get to, regarding Jeffrey Epstein and the files, and the extraordinary announcement that arrived.
And then Trump jumps in and runs interference
yesterday that basically no other people are going to be involved. We're not going to, there's no names. The DOJ has concluded their investigation. Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile acting all on his own. There was no orbit. So let's just watch this clip because I promise you it is indeed amazing.
Yeah, let's watch it. I'll just say...
Hold on.
Administration...
This is the...
Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If
could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
This guy's been talked about for years.
Yeah.
You're asking, we have Texas.
Yeah. I guess we're all supposed to say yeah.
We have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Yeah, we are.
That is unbelievable.
You should believe it.
Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein
Believe it.
at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and all.
These, again, ladies and gentlemen, these are all of his most ardent supporters from last year. This is what I've been saying all along about these trains that have left the station. This is this overlap between the reality that they have to deal with and the story that they were selling to everyone. It's pretty spectacular. Okay. There's, let's see. I think I've got just enough time for almost all of the I don't know what this is. Benny Johnson does a lot of AI video before his stuff.
What's up, guys? Benny. President Truman is famous for saying, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. Just because you can't trust anybody in Washington, but especially those who are close to you, your own side, your own party, will stab you in the back and run you over with a train, and your grandmother for a little more power. So when you do have friends in Washington, don't F them over. Do your level-headed best not to hand them fake binders.
I don't think they did. I think they didn't even have to try. I think that's the issue. And by the way, this is the way all of his shows are going. All Benny Johnson shit is this way. Like all of his, he's jumping on this train entirely. All of his episodes. Hold on, maybe I can even show you this. The site, like here we go. I'm going to go to let's see if I can just click on. Yeah, open link in new tab. His channel. And you'll see like the thumbnails for everything in here. Yeah, there we go. Check this out. This is Benny Johnson's channel, and all of his videos and his titles right now have these AI generated images. Megyn Kelly snaps. Megyn Kelly demands Pam Bondi resign. Epstein's bro slams feds. That's Mark Epstein. Epstein family breaks silence, exposes Fed cover-up on live TV. Trump advisor exposed. Elon goes nuclear, accuses famous Trump advisor, that's Bannon, by the way, of being in the Epstein files. Cover-up proof found, ? Investigation opened, ! Tucker exposes cover-up. Trump speaks on Epstein as one woke director slams MAGA or whatever. Epstein files are here. Elon goes nuclear with the Epstein things. Rosie O'Donnell blames Trump for Texas floods. Okay, feds delete footage. Epstein files cover-up, ? Feds release Epstein tapes. Elon launches new party. And then that gets us to 2 days ago. That's when all this broke, right? That's the whole thing. And do you mind if I just jump in and look at something here real quick?
What's up, guys? Benny, I'm just trying to help, right?
Nope. You're subservient to Trump as he tries to hide his criminal past, I think.
I don't want to see the country broken in two. I don't want to see the MAGA movement fractured as a single.
Yeah, see, that's different. The country is split in a lot of ways, but none of us give a shit if MAGA breaks in two.
Most powerful political movement on earth. And throughout many ups and downs, I've done my very level-headed best to try and fuse things back together.
Yes, Benny, save them from themselves.
And so here we are, giving good advice once again. And this is my advice to the Trump administration in the fallout of this very toxic Epstein scandal, which is the trust us, we looked into it, bro, era of federal governance is over.
No, it's as a matter of fact, it only exists under Trump. They insist that's how it functions. Democrats will show up for 11-hour Benghazi hearings and go, all right, let's have this out. And Trump's entire system is run on trust me, bro. Stupid.
You'll never be able to just say, no, we're the feds, move along. Never again. The feds are going to have to show their work beyond a shadow of a doubt to gain the acceptance of the American people from.
Yeah, they don't care. Patel, Bondi, Trump, they don't give a shit. Basically, they're saying, fuck you, Benny Johnson.
Here on out. We didn't make the rules because we didn't break the machine. Decades of relentless lies and grotesque abuses of power got us to this point.
No, I think 2 terms, a term and a year of Trump, I think, is what got you where you are.
We didn't break it, but Trump bought it. They own it now, and these are the rules.
Yes, and we all know how he is with rules.
And so, the feds are going to come out and say, no, there was no Epstein list. He didn't blackmail anyone. He's totally...
They already did.
Innocent. Ghislaine Maxwell's totally innocent. We're going to keep her as a state prisoner. It's like, it just is. Shut up. Just stop talking about it. Like, that's not how it works anymore. Maybe that worked for your grandparents. They had a 1950s, right? 1950s. That's how people believed it. Well, the CIA said it, so it must be true. It's not how it works. So when President Trump yesterday, dismissed it and said, stop.
Fuck the 50s. You guys, up until a week ago, believe anything Trump says. And anything anybody in the administration says on his behalf. Stop laying this off on decades-old storylines. This is you guys.
Talking about Epstein, it's going to have the opposite effect. And I'm saying this as somebody who wants to help.
Mm-hmm. Why? Why do you want to help Jeffrey Epstein's wingman?
And now you can see the polling. Polling for President Trump just cratered last night. I'm not one to go and scream at the polls or anything like that. I'm not panicking, okay? I'm not losing.
Kind of are. Kind of is. Kind of, yeah, there is a little bit of panicking going on. I think I feel it, yeah.
My mind, I'm not sabotaging anything. I'm trying to help. I am the voice of actually a lot of people that we're speaking with inside of the Trump administration who's frustrated about how this is being handled, quite frankly, because they know that if it's handled incorrectly, it'll have a toxic fallout. Percent to think that Donald Trump was or wasn't involved in the crimes allegedly committed by Jeffrey Epstein. U.S. adults, 40% to 27%. Split along party lines here, independents and Republicans. But nonetheless, the way to exonerate yourself entirely is to say, we're not protecting any predators around here. And everybody who ever knew...
Except you have to, because, again, it's Trump. You act like that's an actual reality. Trump is involved in this. He was involved in this. He's in an interview saying Jeffrey likes him young. Like, you can't just look like this reeks of like when somebody's on trial or something like, why don't you just proclaim your innocence? Just show them everything you got. Well, that might work if you're actually innocent.
This guy is going to be exposed because you were dealing with a convicted predator. He was convicted and found guilty and did a little bit of prison time in a sweetheart deal. And of course, he was like charged again, right?
Right. During whose presidency? By whose AG?
So, like, why are we protecting these people?
These people. Who would these people be? How about this person? How about Donald Trump?
There's no reason to protect them.
Sure there is. They all work for him.
Do you think that Trump is involved in the crimes committed by Epstein? Yes, 40%. No, 27%. This is July 9th, 2025. You go. Okay. Well, now there is major fracturing going on inside.
Oh dear.
Trump's base.
And sorry. I want to take this very seriously. Hold on. Let's see. Let's go to. I need. It'll be in here. 1 second. Before we continue, I don't want to get lost in this. 1 second. Why can I not get to the menu on this thing? You silly, silly person. There you go. Excellent. Then, yeah, there we go. Let's see. There we go. Let's just do that. There you go. Yeah, here you go. This will.
Probably inevitable, right? It's hard to keep a coalition like this together.
Coalition.
But you have Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and Patrick Bet-David, all of them friends of Donald Trump, all of them people who Trump's appeared on their shows many times, and like they've spoken at his rallies and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like state media at all.
All of them like savaged the administration yesterday. All of them savaged.
Like assholes. How dare they? How dare they? Especially Megyn Kelly. I mean, she doesn't actually believe all women, does she? What the fuck?
The president and his administration. Many of them took different angles, but all of them said this is a nightmare. Okay? And we're going to play you like a little wrap-up of that in just a second. But I want to talk about the other fracture going on right now between Steve Bannon and Elon Musk.
Sure.
Steve Bannon, of course, sort of the architect mastermind of original MAGA, right? The beating, pulsating heart of original MAGA is War Room. We have nothing but respect and love for Steve Bannon.
All right, good, very telling. Then you bought him soap and had that heart-to-heart.
Elon Musk, the technologist, of course, that came in over the top and spent hundreds of millions of dollars to get Trump elected in 2024 and did a lot of events and so on and so forth, did a ton of work to help President Trump. Also, respect. These two, though, don't respect each other.
Right, but I mean, in terms of this, and not defending Elon Musk because I can't stand the guy, but Bannon actually stole from MAGA.
Elon Musk has said Steve Bannon is a fat, drunken slob, and he's going to go back to prison. Okay, so they don't like each other.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just telling the truth.
They don't like each other. That's been really public for a long time.
Is it a smell thing?
In the fallout of this Epstein scandal and crisis, PR crisis, Elon Musk has named top Trump ally in the Epstein files. As MAGA civil war spirals. What happened now? Billionaire techie turned political provocateur Elon Musk has launched another salvo into the MAGA world by claiming that former Trump advisor Steve Bannon is implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein files. You see how bad this can get? Like, so, see how bad it spirals when you mismanage this stuff?
Maybe they're not mismanaging it. Maybe this is the only way you can manage it. I mean, if it's true. Unless, you know what, I'm being unfair to Benny Johnson. Maybe he views the proper management of it is to hide everyone's participation with Jeffrey Epstein in criminal acts against children for the benefit of MAGA. So, okay, sure.
Toxic it gets. We don't need headlines like this.
Well, buckle up, Buttercup.
The mercurial businessman who was recently...
The mercurial? Mercurial? Metacurial? Is that
fallen out of Trump's orbit after lambasting the big beautiful bill, emerged with a fresh attack against Steve Bannon. Bannon is in the Epstein files, he said on X. The Tesla CEO is responding to a social media post about Roger Stone. Why would Steve Bannon meet with Jeffrey Epstein at his New York home and in Paris after Epstein was convicted of sex crimes in Florida? Stone wondered.
Gee, it's a curious thing. Shall we wonder about? I wonder what.
Why would he coach Epstein for his 60-minute appearance?
Because there is no bottom.
This appears to stem from a report that Bannon allegedly helped the convicted pedophile prepare for a CBS 60 Minutes interview that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the original post from Roger Stone going after Steve Bannon. Right here. And then here's...
So, by the way, not jumping into, like, support Roger Stone and all this with his fucking Nixon tattoo and everything?
Elon Musk saying Bannon is in the Epstein files. Now, he said this about President Trump. He apologized for it. Elon Musk apologized, deleted it.
Yeah, he didn't take it back, though. He said he went too far. He didn't say it was untrue.
It gets getting nasty. This had 42 million views yesterday, this post.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's terrible.
This is far and away Elon Musk's biggest post on X yesterday. How can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files?
They're a bunch of suck-up cucks who can't, I guess, are incapable of introspection so much that they can't even fathom the idea that they'd be this wrong about somebody?
42 million.
42 million.
Will exposing the Epstein files rank high on the American Party's list? 100%. But Trump says there are no files, said Alex Jones. Then he says stop talking about it. 47 just triggered the mother of all Streisand effects. This is, of course, named after Barbara Streisand when she said, stop looking at my house, stop looking at my house. Everyone's going to go look at her house.
Yeah, we know where that came from. I think we're all just enjoying the fact that I don't know why you're not jumping. You didn't mention, I guess, come to the defense of Roger Stone, and you're not jumping on Alex Jones for basically calling Trump a liar.
Yeah. It's nasty. It's nasty.
It's so nasty. It's so heartbreaking. Guys.
I don't want to, listen, between the stuff.
Hold on. I'm just sad I don't have my sad music right now. I need to download my sad music on this because I don't have it's so depressing. I don't have my world's smallest violin song for this because it's never been more necessary.
Bannon and Elon, I'm not gonna, that's just like a really nasty interpersonal war.
Maybe this is a
that I'm not getting involved in. But it's what's out there. It's what's being put out there and being seen by tens of millions of people, right? They arrested and killed Peanut, says Elon Musk. This is the little squirrel. They have not even tried to file charges against anybody on the Epstein client list. Government is deeply broken. I feel that. Why haven't they gone and done an investigation into Bill Clinton? Like this, I deeply feel. Bill Clinton is somebody who had Epstein at the White House dozens of times. Then after he got out of the White House, he was immediately flying around the world with Jeffrey Epstein on his plane.
Here's a good idea. Ask fucking Pam Bondi, because apparently, according to her, nothing to see here.
The little island. That's what
I don't care. If you find something awful, let me know.
That's what the depositions say of the Epstein victims. They said that they saw Clinton on the island. That's what they said in black and white. Ghislaine Maxwell was at Bill Clinton's daughter's wedding. Bill Clinton has one kid, and Ghislaine Maxwell has the seat of honor at the wedding. What the hell is that about?
Could be about Robert Maxwell.
The whole thing's messed up, man. And Bill Clinton's never been questioned federally for this? Yeah, it's broken.
Yeah, and you don't think Trump would ask him if the answers to his questions weren't worse?
The Epstein files will never be released. There will be no arrest, no accountability, no justice. This is how I and so many other people feel right now. We've been had, yes, says Elon Musk. Elon Musk, Bannon is in the Epstein file. Elon Musk, here's Elon Musk with Ghislaine Maxwell. Musk just said Bannon's in the Epstein files.
Wow. I got to say, Benny is wilting right before our eyes.
What a joke. Everyone Musk doesn't like is in the Epstein files now. Modern Salem witch trials. You know, the way to fix all this is to release all the evidence. I've been trying to be helpful here. Release all the evidence. Elon Musk claimed that Steve Bannon's in the Epstein.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be helpful because Trump would be fucked.
Files. I hope that Elon has proof to back that up. Bannon is not going to just let these accusations slide. He's a fighter, and he will fight to the death on this topic.
Unless he's in them, I guess.
Steve Bannon angered
In which case he'll just tuck his tail and shut the fuck up like Trump did.
Musk with the HB1 visa topic happened. Elon went full HB1 and Bannon led the movement against it. This is the root of this, of their hatred.
Right, but he did coach him on this 60 Minutes interview. He did meet with him after he'd been arrested for sex trafficking minors, and he didn't mind being in business with him. How about this? How about he doesn't have to be a client or participate in it for that to be enough to tell that guy to go fuck himself. After Epstein's busted, Steve Bannon goes to work for him to teach him how to coach him for his interview so that he can manipulate the press and get himself back into society's good graces. Why is that not enough? Why did these guys need Steve Bannon to be a participant in the actual crimes to tell him to fuck off?
Together. This, of course, you may recall the HB1 visa fight. Sources say that Steve Bannon is in those Epstein files that don't exist. Is it just me, or does Elon Musk and Steve Bannon absolutely hate each other? Yes, I trust Elon Musk. Okay. Elon Musk, Bannon is in the Epstein files. Me, show us proof, or hush. True.
So is this? Are we just? Is that what Benny Johnson's show is now? I went over time. I'll finish up. But this is Benny's show. Should just be called like doom scrolling with Benny Johnson at this point. And I think that's what a lot of them are doing. Like right now, know this. Know that the whatever maggot you can think of in media or in the influencer category or online. All of them are just doom scrolling around the Epstein files right now. That's all they're doing. All day, every day, that's it. Just doom scrolling Epstein shit. And I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier. Did anyone ever see the Epstein funeral? I didn't. China Yacht? Yeah, well, that's the, yeah. That's I don't know if that's tied to Bannon's Epstein stuff, but it's in some ways equally as bad. It's called Ben scrolling. It's Benny. Everybody's going Benny scrolling. They won't prosecute Maxwell until Trump is out of office. She's already been prosecuted. She's doing 20 years. The question is, will they give her a deal or offer her a deal to shorten her time until Trump is out of office, in which case he can't do anything about it, or, he won't be able to kill her. Thank you, El Rondo. He's doing okay. He's doing okay. Thank you guys for asking. He's, it's a rough one. He was in the hospital for 4 days last week. And so we're here, visiting and stuff. And while I'm still doing my shows as best I can around the regular time, I still got a lot to do. If we're going to go do something, it's just, it needs a little bit of help. That's all. Saw a drone video taken from above Epstein Island, and it looks like Epstein looking up at the drone. I wouldn't be surprised if it was his footage. Was there footage buried or cremated? It's a good question. So I swear my dad just entered the nursing home. Well, I hope he's enjoying it. Katie Johnson is Nadia Bjorlin. That's her real name. 3 shirts banned, smells and looks like shit. Yes, I agree. Trump will pardon her? I don't think so. I mean, I think he could commute. He probably would commute her sentence on the way out, I bet. Until the Epstein files come out, or instead look up the indictment, Trump, Epstein versus Jane Doe 2016. Yeah, we talked about that with Tara. The Democrats need to go talk to her. I mean, The problem is she's a part of the criminal enterprise, so she's not necessarily that trustworthy and a witness in that regard. Thank you, Denise. He was fried? Okay. Yeah, I think commute's what's going to happen at the tail end of it. I think he's going to commute her sentence when he leaves office and say that she wasn't part of this and whatever. Rudy's in hiding? Yeah, that's true. CSL, maybe we could keep on the lookout for that. I have not seen anything like Rudy Giuliani talking about any of this shit. Certainly none of them are bringing up the fucking laptop right now. The maggot moment of clarity is making you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Yeah, and it's not going away. Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why they can't do stuff, because if she appeals her case and she uses this kind of stuff to get out, which is possible. Here's the problem. I mean, there's a bunch of problems, but when it comes to Maxwell, let's say she finds a way on a technicality under Trump's DOJ to get another trial. So she's released pending retrial, and then because of Trump and all the talk around it, how does a clean copy of the Epstein files still exist? I would say no, probably not. That Ghislaine, if she can't get a jury, then she could, if she's awarded a new trial, then there's all the juries have been fucked with. Her people could talk the court into saying she can't get a fair trial now going forward because of all the assumptions people make. Do you think this clarity will change anything? Yes, I do. I think it'll slow their roll on a lot of shit. That's why they had to pass this. It's almost, it's radio time. You're right. I got to jump on with, there we go. Hold on one second. Let's see. I think they're going to call me at 6:15. They're supposed to, I believe. Andy Richard could. Excellent. Okay, I think they're going to call me in 1 minute. So I'll let you guys go, and I will see you later. I'm going to jump on Patty Vasquez's show this Saturday, live show in Chicago at Max and Benny's with me and Johnny Million and a couple other fun people. I'll be on Patty Vasquez's show on WCPT in about a minute or so, and then I will be on Richard Chu's show at 7:45 Eastern Time on Friday. While I'm on my way to the airport or already there. So on my way to the airport or already there.